adenti na MPP fo ntimi nka koko asem eyetiawa
okay
ene koko sector atetia pansam ama ye yield akofo ma ye ntimi nka koko kura biem ye MPP fo ene na ama koko no akofom ma kire ne edikan afudi abua hede afudi anadwo Muhammad ma akuafo free fertilizer free spraying free wa be yi ni nyina free wo be yi free won so a ebua anka ese wodi ma koko farmer no one farmer no when him said the first 4 years of President Akufo-Addo one to cocoa so one Ghana cra. One Ghana. 2020 ye twa free 2021 almost free 600. And the core 600 and the core 800 and almost 2 years because of the depreciation of the city no and the core ya could do 3,100. Now when him near womb no cray woman say at the time ana MPP for 8 year 2,800 3,000 and 3,100 no na sa amre no koko dwaman so ye ton no aboarding and come betimi atua 3 times of the values that they were paying. And go and look at the numbers very well. Time ana President Akufo-Addo took koko so e could do 3,100 no koko no na eda be say 7,800
yes
e peja ni mu ko 8,000 e ko 9,000 e ko 10,000 e ko 12,000. So kodwama so na okotokoko niema mienu na tools mienu instruments mienu ne use ye won your friend futures market and your friend spot market spot market ne say wa fa koko na to battery literally now they akọ dwama so now see me kura me koko ahene ye ton wo dwama so no aton and a futures market ne say wunye sika na advance now kwa sign contract agi hu sika no now wa supply no later
yes.
Now, futures market airton at $12,000. Now, spot price near ton bears at $10,000. Now, President Akufo-Addo no 3,100 Ghana cedi.
Yama ahwefo nyina akwaba. Sese obi eni nua oman hene Kwabena Asante eje omuhome na papa na enya asem ketwa. Owura ye frɛ no Dr. Peter Boama Otokonor eye Director Presidential Initiative Agric Business Office of the Presidency and as Office of the President, that is Jubilee House. Ene watoro boase achire eniemamu edi achire obi na sizua unim se obi ni nua eye ni panyin Kwabena oman hene Kwabena Asante die omayo omadwin se jandam and on the bo okurum ha. But as to say ombe make sure say enyema MPP eye ewo position no enye and eno na so ebema MPP at no position ache no obi will never say that, but then ombe so protect that criminal opposition party MPP because the ene Cocoa board nyina no Dr. Joseph Dr. Nkanidi Joseph Omokan saying Boahin, right? Joseph Boahin ono edu Joseph Boahin edu on in Crawford and more orchestrate every single thing that is going on in the cocoa sector and I say in the cocoa board industry. I'm telling you, omono mayes animawe. Enti senka MPP for ewo aniwo kakra. And I don't think say they will go all out for this comparison, this issue about cocoa reduction, and that's a cocoa price reduction. Any international marketer, I say, our Monkasa, they know very well perfectly, say issue no every abang we know an international issue. But yes, so these people sit on radio, sit on television, these people sit on what? Newspaper, magazines, and every social media, then defend their government from scandals I happen. Cocoa board worker countless times, ewo over year and MPP abenso. Almost every year within the 8 years, and almost every year cocoa board a boka. And bisa I say see then a boka syndicated loan no mokwaji every check na chese abrofno kra saying hey cocoa. You see, a lot of things have happened. A lot of things have happened had happened, in fact, in MPP Abenzo. But yes, still, they have decided not to talk about it. But then they will put that one aside and criticize what it is not. I mean, that what it is not worth it. And we know, say, this price issue, no, from the international market, and it has never and ever be this government's fault. Yankwana Yunkoti, Dr. Peter Buama Otokonor. What I say, Medical Kato, so a director of director presidential initiative in agriculture and agribusiness. We office of the presidency. What church the name? In fact, interview we were mesro so being at the general to Bonuati in Seni. Say what papa and it make a lot of sense. What I say, Nintia Micheda, it make a lot of sense. Well, Obi Nimase, Obi Ayana Jeans or no MPP into Mano, Ekatenti, or any near Cobnasanti. Inti no qualify no quadromun can be the yenti, the coba a better.
Important question. In only storage.
Sure.
Post production is not only storage.
Okay.
Post production is harvesting, harvest handling, harvest transportation, harvest storage, and harvest processing. So it's a broad chain. Storage is just one aspect. So you are just storing the raw farm products. So what you are saying, and depending on your strategic policy as a country, which crops you are growing, you develop the storage to suit that. Currently, under a Feed Ghana agenda now, 6 food crops, main food crops. There are more other crops that we are doing also, but those are the target areas to drive growth in those areas. Maize, rice, soya bean, sorghum, tomato, in fact 7, tomato, onion, and pepper.
Yeah, but what can you na ebuno? None of these were in there.
Oh, maize ebu. Maize di ebu
7 no maize any dey in there ebu.
Maize soya bean ebu.
Soya bean
ebu.
Ghana ha.
Soya bean na me ton 700 Ghana for my farm. And then me to soya bean 320 Ghana.
320.
Yes. Ebu, in fact, I know Akrobia frame is all about $1,000, and I buy large quantity. I do livestock. I do all animals. Think of it, and now I do it from rabbit to pigs to cattle to poultry, turkey, ducks. I do everything.
Oh, really?
360.
Like
so I do grains commercial. Yeah, commercial. Commercial.
Okay, into what about two out of the 7?
So two maize ebu, soya bean ebu, emu ye.
Emu ben.
Local rice ebu and sotona
Ghana ha.
Na obi anya wa na nanse you frɛ rice producers here no mu twa adwadwo se o mu nya obu manese
paddy ni go ho o mu ntimi process paddy no
na paddy na edan anwa
oh na say enu ebedu ni paddy who betima di paddy
but yes because emu na bu ni ntino they will not melt because the science of it is that mele at that moisture levels na by 3 months 4 months 145 be say
yeah, but
science and say.
So we've not done
that is why everywhere across the world we don't store rice, we store rice paddy.
Sure.
Very good.
Sure.
Hating rice now paddy na one. So any day that the market needs it because it's in excess, you have to keep it because it's in excess. Say market in here mele ya aba market. And so rice is in excess. In fact, rice is significantly in excess. Now beyond the excess beyond the excess one significant thing that we have to look at, very crucial, is to how to regulate the market. Said even whilst there is excess, it doesn't become injurious to the farmer. Because one regulating market now, particularly as our currency is doing well, also to one more be free for the you understand? And so those are the key issues. I mean, say Ministry of Food and Agri, Trade and Agri Business. Any presidency how to manage the flow of food into the market and even off the market. You understand? And so it's a whole the management of the agri sector no enye into concrete to send because we suffered with food. because of the way they manage it. Now I remember whilst we were crying on top of our voices, say, "She, the way Uncle Foyi cut planting for food. Maybe tell studio ha. I catch you say yes, planting for food and just, but my future document now me make share ya investing yeah, about power. I wanted to see what they did so that we can know how we can basically Brian Champo document here.
Na feed Ghana the anyway.
Feed Ghana the answer. Oh, anano a farmers the omuche free when you be the offer honorable Eric Albania.
Who say Adia Ghana food deeper in toast in mui
in toast boo in season.
Okay.
Emma, it got to a point in time president had to intervene. Emma agogo. We had to direct schools and tontos okay. But you see now how to sustain the market means that you must produce off season.
Yes,
is what you say. Yes. So in season what produce you have struggled to find a way to get it down. You see processing factories, how to get them processed. But beyond that, supply chain maintenance, supply chain consistency are very key. It is say in grown within season a big problem. It is under the irrigation for wealth project now. Most of the areas I targeting is to grow vegetables throughout the season. And I know Martin said now John Dumelo say we are targeting our 300,000 metric tons off season production. And the whole idea is say a smooth travel of production. Said every time there will be available food. But you must even do that and do more so that you will be able to process. So at and take advantage of the international market. And so that is the dynamics in agriculture.
No, mana tomatoes free Burkina Ebano. Enra, I think 3 days ago, many of Modin come on say off season, no. Because you need irrigation facilities,
yes,
Papa, no.
It's true.
In the intos
it's true.
It's true. And that is what you should be tackling.
Exactly, that's what we are doing. But you see, the thing about agriculture investment when it comes to agro infrastructure is that it takes time. The policy, and so you handle the low hanging fruits, and that's what we have been telling the Kufuor's government in the past. Let's handle the low hanging fruits. Whilst you look at installing in the process, facilities to offtake and process. And to hear your agriculture marketing, and say wakodwaso na wakotonkwa. Agriculture marketing includes processing, agro processing, because the off-taking would go to the factory, then you add more value, then it goes to bigger markets. Because if you don't add more value, you can't access bigger markets, you access restricted markets. And so it's a whole grand program. We have spoken about a feed industry initiative where we are looking at growing industry to absorb the excess. But you have to do the production first. So you deal with production. In fact, you do with pre-production. It is pre-production efficiency and a more efficiency in production. Now more efficiency in post-production. But what you say? And then pre-production efficiency. And I mean, no can was inputs no. So inputs no eba na yefo. Now start producing inputs ni bi kra ha. Me no can say we are working on a number of projects to manufacture fertilizer in Ghana. We are working on a number of projects to do agrochemicals in Ghana. And if these things come on stream, it means that even if there is, in the most unlikely situation, currency fluctuations, you don't suffer. You understand?
But these things are medium to long term. I mean, it may
essentially it must. No, Obi. Essentially, it must be medium to long term because Rome was not built in a day. You understand? But the fact that you are taking the steps and the infrastructure, the project starts, is significant. For example, an honorable Eric. Eco Kate sword for a processing factory of poultry. It will take time to construct, but when it comes on stream, it will work. And that's what we want from governance. Ghana abatwa yetu nyina ne say ubetu abe you obi ase bi owo ni swadi hunu na owo pepa a wo de be pia say ni swadi hunu na ma ni swadi hunu na bam. And that's the results we are seeing
across the country. Say omo trust him message in opposition. Say MPP for our manage sector ni momo ba mo be ni ye mo be mo good prices any ade omo gina so to aba ni boom boom edema mo bo ama da won mama omo nsa esifom afedi omo sika kre wo say ba omo na aban edge eden na obeka che
gogo kwani be na kan sa asem
one tier demonstration interviews na
o sa MPP ni na what say what yes so say o ye demonstration
no me can farmers
and a guy in the friends and Paul Yandos and then the demonstration.
And your Poyanda.
It is a money in okay because if you are for easy, I meet you almost on that president Mahama say so what one and one person cocoon is a tiny begu. Oh yes,
Sikana Abba from
and now the phone is a videos in the bimba.
Sikana Abba from
me say phone is videos in the bimba so dia.
Who's in the pants
of president Mahama say se wetu anamon a ebeboa amako sector netimi agina ne collapse se ufo na bi mba so de a ebi efiri ufo no
two things now
ebi efiri ufo no
president Mahama announce ni oma bebre
ufo na ye China na say ye den because se won say video na anye na efiri ufo no
president Mahama announce ni oma bebre including the cut in price no apart from cut in price no or announce bill or they call parliament say yen lucky in 70% no or announce local production of cocoa into all those other things or and no more than as one and I say buona ya test then me pese me hu
video no
I've seen those videos.
Well, very good. Yes. I just want to confirm one video. So those are what I have seen. But near I can't dear poyando money abajemo dear no more ye no money namne dear. They have no iota of idea of what cocoa farming is.
Really?
One more to us here, crack. Sabio, miracle. Any poyando, amu cocoa farmers. Wako 3 years will be say Munamu champion Sabio cocoa for nim nyanza, cocoa for munim nyanza, so more make on myself. The fact of the matter is that Sabio won't me nya one Marco Konokone Enko is one tifin kohono aba na bo bebuza say one ye. Now who cause am? Obi ananu ami hu say kobi opon kroma edi press conference animu okoko no. I was in Gume. Me who dream me. I was waxed. You can't say waxed out here. I was shocked to the core. Because senka bobi be ka koko asema e wo mamu ha nkanya MPP4. Anano papa panimu bi pa me fere ne pa na ohia me no say enti no se bio Ghana ye ni wuade ana. E ba ne sen na MPP4 ka koko asem. Adenti na MPP4 ntimi nka koko asem. Eyetiawa.
Okay.
Ene koko sector atitia pansam ama ye yield akofoma ye ntimi ntwa koko kura biem ye MPP4. Eden na ama koko no akofom. Ma kire ni edikan afudi abu ahede afudi anajo Muhammad ma akuafo free fertilizer free spraying free wa be yi ni nyina free wo be yi free won so a ebu anka ese wodi ma koko farmer no one farmer no when he said the first 4 years of President Akufo-Addo one to cocoa so one Ghana cra. One Ghana. 2020 ni twa free 2021 no mo free 600. And the core 600 and the core 800 and no to ya because of the depreciation of the cedi no and the core ya could do 3100. Now unim near wom no kure wom ni say at the time na MPP4 2800 3000 and 3100 no na sa amre no koko dwaman so ye ton no abodin anko mo betimi atua 3 times of the values that they were paying. And go and look at the numbers very well. Time ana President Akufo-Addo took cocoa so e could do 3100 no. Cocoa no na eda be say 7800.
Yes.
E peja ni mu ko 8000, e ko 9000, e ko 10000, e ko 12000. So kodwama so na okotokoko enema mienu na tools mienu instruments mienu na use. You want your friend futures market and your friend spot market. Spot market and say wafa koko na to a battery literally. Now they are called jandam so. Now see me kura bi koko ahene ye ton wo jandam so no aton. And a futures market and say wunye sika na advance. Now kwa sign contract agi hu sika no. Now a supply no later.
Yes.
Now, futures market airton at $12,000. Now, spot price near ton bears at $10,000. Now, President Akufo-Addo no 3,100 Ghana cedi. Now, only mathematics a womb. Samreno na dollar no 16 cedis. Dollar ni 16 cedis.
Yes.
Now, 16 cedis no. Yan fan say a bra spot price ne kra $10,000. No ton 16 cedis cocoa 1 ton. Ebeye 160,000 Ghana cedi. Tete 1.6 billion OCDs. se woka se ubuafu ubetua cocoa farmer not say the Mahama etua ni sisi ano na be man 70%. 70% of 160,000 yae. 70% of 160,000 yae. And you almost 90,000 Ghana cedi. One ton bia cocoa botono edunsia ene wom. Divide 90,000 by edunsia. My uncle school kakra ni enye maasi bi wa ha. U divide 90,000 by 16. Ubenya 90,000 divided by 16. Ubenya 5,625.
25.
Samre no na President Akufo-Addo eton cocoa no 3,000 in fact na 2,800. And ye kasa ya and all the bibeka ho and about 3,000 and a call 3,100. So 3,100 no actually constitute 25% of the FOB price. Metro article be on the May 2024 analyzing why the cocoa sector was dying, why the yields were going down. Now at that time no not 2023 now yield now babes 430,000. Before the following, no 450,000. Before the following year, I anticipated say a better form even further because we are not motivating the farmer enough. The farmer, oh man, 3,100, which is only 25%. So that was the time near sorry when this years no. A brand near what bemuno near bomber they said
25% of saying
of the FOB international price.
What was the FOB?
The international actually 160,000.
Based on then Oma Unyasa one.
Oh, and I may say
is it official FOB cocoa board announced?
No, and the FOB, you see, the FOB price that they announced at the time. In fact, that was available because your terminal price, I mean, and your terminal price, and no cocoa board announced. But the international price, no, no international cocoa exchange, and they announced. So international, so no, yes, so we are saying that the best pricing index should be the international price. It's when we are doing pricing in Ghana, CCR currently we use FOB. So FOB,
gross FOB or the net FOB?
May patch on whether gross or net.
Very important. It's important.
Whether gross or net, it is inconsequential.
Why?
On the international cocoa exchange, they don't determine net. They determine gross. It's
which
FOB.
one do we use in
May
Ghana?
patch Unia.
They determine gross, but which one do we use in Ghana?
To do what?
To get what we pay to the farmer.
I am doing analysis and choosing what I'm using. Also, which one do you use in Ghana? If you yourself and then one FOB price,
which is the gross FOB,
and not terminal price
Ghana,
now. Cannot
before we determine what we give to the price, you see cocoa industry cost.
And terminal price. And your friend and net and I make terminal price. And no calculate you a haulage movement.
So in the Ghana you use terminal price.
Oh, probably no.
Name pray. Said you who can use our.
Oh, idea who pan is obi our question idea half. No feeling say when my dear no. It's to na me
what bobon your baby? Me say Ghana you use the terminal price, right?
Obi to bona me chire wase me chire wo na ma me ya analysis na obeben. Me sorry akono wa cocoa expert. Me say what you here.
Once we agree say Ghana you use
yes say international FOB price ah ye dey announce na no ya woda.
Yes.
Ye use we no. And then your net, the 4,200 that we use was the gross international price. And what we have used, what we have used to do our analysis in opposition were all international FOB price. Okay. The terminal prices, they are used for internal purposes to measure your margins. Because you include the LBC's margins, you include the all free, those things are there. But those margins must fall within near Ebeka Uyi farmers in the free ma. Uyi 70% ni free ma. Near Ebeka no. Those margins come in between them. So they are
because of something.
So it is inconsequential for anybody to whether ask you or use net FOB price or whatever it is, terminal price or whatever. It is inconsequential because may analysis about what the Kuyani is getting. And you are telling me say the margins that goes in should be
question. The last time many Fifi Boafo din komo. Fifi said what Ghana was using now the net FOB. And no determined
and net FOB no was not, in fact, they were not even using net FOB. They were using their contract values.
Okay, that's fine. It doesn't know more use net FOB. When Honorable Brian Achampon took over as a Greek minister, NOC no. But who you should net of FOB now, you are cheating the farmer. And from the last crop season, and Honorable Brian here said that be omunyusu gross FOB. And no me busa say and no one amoto aso ana say must go back to the net FOB. One
make us say at the end say one tia year you get lost and you know like how big the you know where you creative must be. The reason is very simple. Ebra net FOB now use no. Nobody has issue. In fact, call to gross FOB. Okay. Gross FOB is not my concern for the analysis. And I may yet say, even when you use the gross FOB, the farmer was getting 25%. You understand? Yeah. So whether net or gross is inconsequential now. We are staying on the FOB, gross FOB announced on the International Cocoa Exchange. 4,200 now here they calculate here at the set price no 2,587 Ghana cedi no now a FOB price.
But
you understand
whether you use net or gross inconsequential.
No, it is inconsequential for my analysis I'm doing now.
Because if today one man will say Nansanya price I'm announcing mu use gross now. It tells me that the more you so net and the price will be different.
No, you see,
and it will not be inconsequential.
No, it will be inconsequential. You don't use that. In fact, we have moved away from. And I make a choice say, uko ton contract $2,600 per ton. That is your net.
That's your forward.
Yes, work your forward. That's your net. Ultimately go beyond it. But I'm saying, say the argument anyway analysis where I say you have to peg it to the FOB. The gross FOB announced on the International Cocoa Exchange. You understand?
Yeah.
Now, when you are using net, it means that you can, it's discretionary. You can determine your net. Because then when you go into a forward sales, the value that you that's what you will use. Yeah. And so that's why I'm not worrying myself there. It will understand the issues now. And you see, I don't want to obfuscate the issues. Me persecute any TRC, the NTI be do sa point with. It's in a me to me boy in mark no. And then you come back and forth and you obfuscate issues.
No, it depends when there is a question.
So Obi, so I have said, President Akufo-Addo ni MPP are buying, Bawumia ni MPP are buying in 2024 when cocoa was selling at 10,000, maybe see 10,000, maybe go beyond to 12,000. 10,000 some no muma cocoa kueni 3,100 sa 3,100 no constitute about 25% of the FOB price. And yeah analysis no and you can say there be we are cheating the cocoa farmer. It's because yeah analysis ni ye ni e kasi ye ma cocoa farmer no even 70% as we have done in the past. Na I can say no na baseline no yenko below data. We should be able to give the cocoa farmer 6,500. But President Akufo-Addo no money 2,500. So what it means is 3,100. So it means to say now the cocoa farmer was losing about 3,400. It will be a hotel cocoa in 2024 no.
Yes.
One ton one bag be 64 kilos no. We lose you 3,400 Ghana cedi. It will team your cocoa kwani. Multiply 3,400 Ghana cedi by the number of cocoa we produce in 2024. That is how much President Akufo-Addo Bahumia's government stole from you.
Yes. You have come
but
to that conclusion.
You
have come to that conclusion because who you sue a different FOB from
no,
use.
No, you need different FOB. Don't send that confusion. Don't send that confusion.
They used 4,800.
And you go and read my article. You can search for it right now, and you will see the analysis. So you will see there say who you sell 2,600 now. What call your forward sales now? Who be catch them say who to 70 and 76%. But you are costing the farmer. The farmer is losing. The farmer is losing almost 3,400, which you could have saved for the farmer. And so that's my analysis. What your dubious contract? Ebra who one in the beko jaso. One the beko jaso. Now walk akoton adie. Now call ye the drama a so ye ton $10,000. Was media me for that Christmas in tea. Sabium previous a measurement may turn 2,600. Who does that?
You are
Sabio a woman drop a dear now sir. You are you man say a drop a dear and I will cotton sir.
Because Oka say ye educated public. You are the expert. I am not. What do you think about minimum guaranteed price? Because what for 10,000 out the year analysis, the 10,000 may have been a flash in the year.
Okay.
But for the average, in the what? How would the average price play in your analysis now?
No country does minimum guarantee price with nominal figures. You do it in percentage. What strike a percentage it was a pine.
Yes.
Fineco, my minimum guarantee price is 70% of the FOB price, and you go according to it. And no government has been religious to this down the President Mahama administration. Last year, Ebra na cocoa no aba bedu 7,200. That not dollar no NDC no 10.5 10.25 to the dollar no. And yes set your first price 3,225 or so. And yes set is our first price no. Ebra CD no epeja no mukakra na ekodu 11.5 and you had the 400 back and the call 3,600. Making sure that we maintain that minimum floor guaranteed price of 70%
of the FOB.
Of the FOB. Now, now, between 4th October, I now say, sir, 3,600 no, till 30th October. Now, cocoa no price no drop every 7,200 about 5,800. Yeah, fine sanka. So loss no between 7,200 and 5,800. How much was lost? Can you do the quick calculation?
Almost 2,000.
Almost 1,400. 1,400, 1,500. Why did you Mete says a gentleman now interview no MPP no. Ka say a buying buy no you more time no mu kusin kweni no. Who kusin that in 1 month? Here I did not drop every 7,200 till last week. Last week na I drop near Kano 4,200. How much loss? $3,000. Maminya analysis been chiro. Between time I announced last one till the time I announcement no ya tokoko 581,000 metric tons out of the 650 that we targeted. So 581,000 metric tons no we have lost $3,000 of that value. Pick your calculator. Multiply $3,000 by 581,000 metric tons. How much has the government cushioned? How much has the government cushioned?
Yeah, but all the 500,000 were not bought from this because from the start of the season, you know.
But you have said the price. But you have said the price.
Of course.
Yes, sir.
Of course.
And you're 3,625 near tono.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Very good. It's in what they say cano and I thought a dear way in it margins be our calculator no. Was certain at 7,200 and now the calculator now almost 70% no. But what you so whatever loss that comes into it, you take care of it.
Yeah, but every government suffers that because there is always price for
main car say will be so far baby.
Okay.
Will be so far be that.
Okay. But
I'm telling you the quantum of what we have absorbed because of propaganda no more no. Say we are buying kusin on time no mu kusin. Multiply 581,000 by $3,000 and see how much billions of dollars that we are losing in this small time. Now between there now you announce new cocoa price no. Ebesine you announce at 4,200 and then in 3 days now do 3,600.
Yes.
So even the value now you announce which is the 2,587 no. Which is supposed to be the 90% of the FOB price, gross FOB price. No? Now, I bet do 3,600. In actual fact, in real terms, we are paying the farmer almost 98% of the FOB price.
Because of the current price.
Because of the current price. Whatever cocoa I bet on free last week, besine. Si etosa cocoa na you could go manswa, you benya $3,600 per ton. Not to say. Margin that's no 4,200 to 3,600, which is almost $600. We have lost all that $600. It's your calculation for from. Yeah, estimation mono na nka see 650,000 metric tons of cocoa.
This crop season.
And yeah 581,000 every mu ya to no dada. It would dey find say kwata. Aka you bear 70,000 metric tons. Multiply 70,000 metric tons by 600.
That will be the gap government has.
That will be the gap. Multiply. A bemo almost $42 million. Now people, who cushions that? And so it is never true. if anybody tells you say we are not cushioning, but you see the reason why it has become very difficult, regrettably difficult, to make this decision at this time. It affects me nana ekuyedum e will be ma me wo fa kwa minsia obi ma a o kokofo e affect no me ankasa ekikime but you know why we have to take that decision? Because cocoa sector no sikasem no yenuanu mo MPP atetina pansam poto. Look, if we don't take any drastic decision, if you are not careful next cocoa season we can't buy cocoa.
Yeah, but that's where they say you obfuscate the matters when you bring in cocoa board debt.
No
pricing of
no
farmers musica a car that hot here you can deal with a can pay farmers or musica.
Sabio and now kwaje bank sikana untua ya.
Yes.
Ukoto ade a wonwen car wo de no ho. Wo de ka 10 million a ukoto ade 5 million. A untua woka.
Yes.
Every year do so here. Sometimes we should use our natural, fair.
Yes.
Yes, it is due. Are you aware that last year alone, cocoa bills that were due was almost about 4.something billion Ghana cedi. Wow, and under domestic debt exchange 2023 cocoa bills of about $10 billion, 10 billion Ghana cedi. They have to restructure for repayment in 2025, 2026, 27, 2028.
No, you didn't understand my question. My question is cocoa trade, you know. Farmers also mudia cocoa now ready. And was say aban cotton e wodwaman so. O the world market price na that particular value chain, picking the cocoa from the farmer, going to sell on the world market, no, and no any cocoa board car at that one. What is the linkage?
Yeah, fufu are now on analysis. Analysis.
What is the link?
I wanted to link it into analysis. No matter on the same you have to include it in the pricing.
Okay, the link.
And you have to take a decision so that you don't incur more debt.
Very well. Link.
You understand? So, sir, a cano 32.9 billion Ghana cedi.
Yes.
Out of which about 26 billion a cocoa contracts. The obligations for the government last year 4 billion. This year there's another obligation that we have to pay to cocoa bills for no. It's due. So I just say, and no you can. And no kodan chaya. So dubious cocoa contract now almost signed $2,600 per ton. A brand now didn't ton $10,000 no. Ama me no ka say cocoa me it
may not be a dubious
it is dubious.
So what sales?
Masa, it is no risk. It is dubious. Why? At the end of that 10,000, what cost I at a brand that 10,000 now when you get say that 10,000. What's I 2,600? Who's in your dubious?
But
why are you doing this?
Who in his right senses was saying?
Why are you infuriating the conscience of the people? Why are you doing that? At the end of 10,000.
At the time they were signing the forward sale contract, no, not at that 10,000.
Oh yes, when they signed the 2024 contract,
yes.
It was 10,000.
At the time they were signing.
In fact, the worst
shot up to 10,000.
At the time they were signing the contract, the worst price was $9,600.
Now what my price mean?
Yes, no. By the way, every day it shifts. But at the time they were signing, within that period, the worst price was 9,600. It's the upper quarter for analysis purposes. You have 9,600 punye. Will you sell your father's property to anybody for 2,600 when it is being sold for 9,600? Will you do that?
But that one will not even make sense. Why
exactly. Hallelujah. That's what I want you to tell MPP. You see, it just simply didn't make sense unless somebody was motivated with an interest. It simply doesn't make sense. So 2,600 not ton, you know. Or sign 780,000 metric tons for 2,600 because Okoka almost say 2024 no Ghana be produce 800,000 metric tons. It's in the mid 780,000 babe mau 2,600. Obi you 10 year. 2,600 at 780,000. And anyame nche adie afe no cocoa I produce ye nyina na make catch from the beginning no. Andrew.
Yeah.
Over is in actual wise about 360,000. You understand? But more announced 433,000. But obviously, because almost supply 433,000 and can cut 333,000. You understand? Out of the amount that I've mentioned. It is 333,000 no mujaye no. One more do schedule 2,600. Sisi a yen NDC are buying and around the abe cocoa board. Yen kwa koto cocoa no 7,200. Ni area yakọ adwaman so e de akoma nkrofo no at 2,600. Because it's due, we have to supply.
Yes.
Ya supply mu 240,000 metric tons. So 240,000 metric tons, no, we have lost almost 150 million US dollars from that trade alone. We convert $150 million ko Ghana sikema at a rate of 10.5. What the amount in 11? On how the audience fan say, yeah, 10 cra. How much are you getting? Almost 1.5 billion Ghana cedi.
But would roll over.
You have lost no tobo. Analysis no one to wow. Your phone show now my friend wife ebusa no me sure say onum kwan wo jade pa wo fufu na wo hwe kwan na me tire mu ko eti sa loss no on that trading alone was made last year. Who pays for that? The government. Wo hwe sa trading nko the nominal loss na ma no, but the real loss is what we call the opportunity cost. Opportunity cost ya here nka obenya se nka wo de sa akoko no call sporter because last year nyina ye turn the sport ye decided say be turn the sport because the problem to bo metra me ko obi ye turn the sport it in opportunity cost ne say se nka ye de sa 240,000 metric tons no e ko dwaman so koton ya nke benya 941 million dollars, which is roughly $1 billion, which in equivalent terms will be about 11 billion Ghana cedi. Now, kaya debt no, debt exchange no 10 billion but we have rather made a loss in addition because of the criminal decision of the Akufo-Addo Bawumia government.
That's fine.
And no koda nche ya to me see you me see ye. And no koda nche ya cocoa board e yusu kotokuo. And odi eswa ni cocoa e di carry ni cocoa. Cocoa kotokuo no enhyehyɛ ya cocoa board ne say said ye yempe Ukraine Russia war be hodi ye kotokuo no wo wiem. Said ye be ye mbeduru Ghana nti no 2 years bia na 3 years bia no ye order na ye be di be say 3 years na ye de agu ho said ye be ya within 2 years na order another one it is our final year ni betwam no na abeduru na ye de run sa. That's how we have run cocoa board. Are you aware that this criminally minded boy here do ni omo cocoa board hold mo no, this is criminal. I think it's criminally minded.
Mind the words you use.
Okay, may you criminally minded? No,
that's fine.
But the dangerously minded. Boy, you do name Crawford. 2021. Cocoa sacks or mu import here. One mu bedu yo mu yiri nyina report no mu di kogu warehouse. And no mu start this year using kakra. 2022 no mu sa order another batch. Ebedu Ghana no mu ja report ho omo ntimi ankle 2023 no more than another one ebedu report ho omo ntimi ankle 2024 there so wo man ankle 4 days to election tie mi ye pa ho 4 days to election na ye wie election ye wie na aban ye kono and no more letters of credit of 48 million US dollars to import another batch of cocoa sack. Meanwhile, 2022 there, 2023 there, 2024 there, ni nyina gu port or intimi clear. And you know the irony, the shocking irony is that 2021 there na ye be gu warehouse no. We mo use no all over the period am aka 91,000 bills. No, so 94,000 bills. Am asa 94,000 bills no. E bi ni use no last year. Am this year there is enough that we can use. 48 million there ni kram be duru here. We have to go and look for money to pay. Senya broni beya. Who would do this to his own country of birth? Wow, my ya wu tumu. I was so for many years. With all the crisis, the domestic debt exchange. Now our boka to ho. Wa went me and Pia. I say Pia be to him 2025. Wusa eco sign a dubious forward sales contract. And no ye lose almost $1 billion every mu. Now we are what's our swa cocoa sacks when you na we go. He clearing duty crazy to yakra na nya de ketwa. Yen calculate ye yemba ho uhwe cocoa board books ma for the first time in the history of Ghana. Se uton cocoa board e jopade nyina cocoa house. Wo mu cars Land Cruiser omu yusu, pickup omu yusu. Uto omu cocoa shares nyina wogana nyina na ukaboma, which is the total asset value of cocoa board. Now she car omu dia, e car omu de no e bro sa asset ni nyina by 3.8 billion Ghana cedi. Who does this?
Okay.
Now obi se ube tu we nyina na esa wo deal with. Na eno nso sika na wo de ye sika na wo de solve sa problem we na wo sa absorb almost 150 million dollars every sa stress we mu na the analysis you and I did right now ye 580,000 cocoa ayeto ye na ye move free 7,200 sa dia kodwama so 4,200 ah hope you be dey.
Okay.
No, I want an answer from you. Between me and you. What you are a potential cocoa boss you. They say Randy. Randy not baby out now. Say you walk and out baby Randy and etina obey a day.
Obey president, I know I am a cocoa.
Say na miki.
But my musa me question. Dear me busane say cocoa board debt has been a growing concern. It is not as if say since cocoa board was established, debt be a murder until Boahiye do a free power. No, hold on. Boahiye do tells us in interview I mean I said on also inherited a debt of close to 19 billion. So no inheritance our debt now, and you made an earlier point say now the first 4 years in our man to cocoa board. I think data production they are sending 475 is what they met. In 2016-2017, they maintained it in 2017-2018, 2018-2019, 2019-2020. Almost about 500.
And no. I'm 2020. Yeah, no, but 2020 no so. Now 2016, but
first 4 years in
Obi now.
First 3 years.
Lawyer. I'm a math teacher, no breaker.
First 3 years, correct. First 4 years, it is wrong. But okay, first 4 years.
2020 not also. 2020 to from 2016 to 2020 is it not 4 years?
Okay, first 4 years.
Me say yes, but
and I make sure the first 4 years is not true. First 3 years is true. And let's move on. Me are there. Elective man.
Okay, finance for better. What be some question back that?
Okay.
Finance for I bet you say the best way to analyze the financial health of an institution is to use what we call the balance sheet. First of all, ebra ye free abemu no.
Yes.
Your profit margin.
Yes.
Ye jaye. Nay, I think 1.3 billion Ghana cedis.
And we will address the question.
Oh, there Tobo. Me I say ye obi aboka ni ye boka. Ntino me na me ya no. Ntino you profit.
Okay.
Mama minye analysis bin chiro. Yen free profit and loss yen ko balance sheet. Balance sheet total equity. Ye ja ema MPP4 surplus of 1.79 billion Ghana cedi. Total equity wamujaye 3.8 billion Ghana cedi deficit. Zero negative what the car 3.8 billion. Wamu current liabilities your liquidating liabilities a car what the ese utiaka. You understand?
Yes.
20.2 billion Ghana cedis. Yeah, liabilities are 1.6 billion. So osha non-current liabilities wamuja 12.3 billion Ghana cedi. Yeah, non-current liabilities 2.9 billion. Eti current liabilities yet u trade nti no sa e kana eso utua but osha wo assets ne wa ho ode a woni sika wo nyina e kana wo de no sika ne bro e kana wo de ne so ati ase eti ne sha oka ye current liabilities ni ye non-current liabilities ni boma 1.6 plus 2.9 billion unya be say 3.4 billion. 3.4 billion. That was our total liabilities.
The argument is cocoa board na debt be any when Boahiye took over.
Oh, that argument. But before na make na be ma repeat it. Me say current liability or the car.
Okay.
But near the car 1.6.
Okay.
And ye the non-current liabilities and also another car.
Yes.
But no long term a car.
Okay.
And we 2.9 billion.
Okay.
Into Kabuma 3.4 billion.
Okay.
A car near there.
Okay.
Okay.
When he was taking over.
No, that is 2016 Boahiye do.
They take you over.
The famous Boahiye do. O take you over not near Wohoni.
Okay.
All free abemuno. The current liability 20.2 billion cedis. The non-current liability 12.3 billion cedis. Okaboma 30.5 billion cedis. Shani assets The assets no 3.8 billion cedis, less than 30.2 billion cedis. So this is the record.
Okay.
This is the record. You see, and
only liabilities no was the 1.8 billion syndicated loan. Now Moji in 2016 na eka because he made that point when I interviewed him.
You see,
and the point he made actually, they say, 1.8 billion na mokoje, you know, muka number of bags tons are more beto. Omo buy by December, move free abem omo buy, you know. Now 1.8 billion in asa. Obi. But na cocoa amo mo de beto na monto bebre. And nothing amount of cocoa bills from Bank of Ghana.
Values now me boy are audited accounts by the Auditor General.
Okay.
These are the values.
Okay.
This is the audited position of Cocoa Board.
As of December 2016.
And a mama we.
That would mean 1.8 billion syndicated loan account.
You see, wow. One thing that you can do easily when you want to confuse people and you don't want person who didn't drop you obfuscate the issues. Mama audited account. What a syndicated loan, unsyndicated loan, whatever. It is inconsequential because it is valued in the total balance sheet. So whether it is part of or not, it's inconsequential for me.
Yeah,
and that is not even the discussion because syndicated loan has been a thing of old.
Yes,
and syndicated loan has really helped Ghana in buying cocoa. One crisis syndicated loan in 2023 proposals somebody called Jamaso some cocoa syndicate all was rejected.
Yeah,
all was rejected because Cocoa Board was getting insolvent. So they came to tell us, oh, I feel the young syndicated loan because we are going to use an innovative model to raise funds because we will not go. And I remember shouting on top of the roofs, say it is not because they are making a strategic decision. It's because they've been rejected on the market.
A necessity.
Yes, they have to do. You don't have any choice. And indeed, the worst of it was that they couldn't raise cocoa bills. You couldn't go to the bond market because you are insolvent. Your balance sheet no na mabubu achire wo no
was not looking good.
Balance sheet bank obi aniwa or your broker, bond broker or financial broker, an expert financial analyst will be advise you say go and buy cocoa bond. So it wouldn't have worked. Okay. Already because we are in the DDEP structure no move amanfo akọ. Do you know that when they did even the DDEP cocoa bills that they were supposed to pay coupon rates of about 7.5 and 8.5%. Because of DDEP, they have to move the coupon rate to 12.5%.
Okay.
12.5%. You see, this is the mess.
One other argument, Honorable Boahine.
Oh, now can person me drew affected price no. Okay.
One other argument, and it's when they took over in 2017, there was a drop in the world market price from a little above 3,000 to 1,000 and something. Na ihia sese na e wasan common so tebo ne so ba ban an tebo ne so. How do you respond to that?
It is completely inconsequential.
Adentia.
No, it is inconsequential because at the time dollar no mu use no, they were not using the model that we are talking about, which is the FOB price. We have indexed our pricing to FOB. But what model net FOB. It's net FOB no more there. It is inconsequential because we are telling you say price no a fluctuating. So you must have a flexible pricing regime so that at least if for nothing at all, it works somehow along the curve.
No, but you are speaking English. You are not answering my question. My question is say, almost you take you over in 2017, like has happened this year. World market price drop.
It's not a question, it's a statement. That's why I'm not answering.
No, meba, drop.
What catch them say? Oh, drop once santi. I mean, can them for home?
Almost say once Sunday they paid.
Why
are you momo the end more drop it price?
Why we are dropping the price? Yes. I have told you that the kind of burden that we have inherited from the reckless mismanagement of Boa Hedu. Yentimin kase yeja price no. And the drop that we have received is significant, such that the losses are huge. And already a collapse. Akoya se wakonya accident obi ni etwitwa 9 mienu na mienu account sa mienu eno ana wodi ye bibia osimebu afu eyi me hu se we ne mu kame we so mu kame ti ba fase kan me twitwa agu. You do that. You are finishing yourself. That's the whole scenario that we are in. When I twitwa enya fault account some you know, and one hour the bibia. We say a muke kame, it in me to try no swaggle. Then you are committing suicide.
The cocoa board you left for them, no, was so good to the extent. So even when the price dropped in 2017,
my brother,
now me
numbers no they lie. Cocoa board's financing was strong. Cocoa board was doing surpluses of 1.79 billion cedis. You know what it means in 2016? 1.79 billion cedi in 2016 when dollar was 4 cedi. You know what it means? What was Ghana's GDP in 2016?
Is it true that
Obi don't jump that may assembly assess here me papa munati frontier and I make say 1.7 billion cedis excess in Nigeria at a dollar rate of 4 cedis. What do you know what the value of that? That's what we left for them, and they are leaving us a debt of 3.8 billion deficit.
Is it true that when you took over in 2025, Cocoa Board account war UK abandoned the Nijamo $500 million was our account? Is that true?
You see, say obi pese order da ona odisiviwa ena ensamne ba na otitete nchen o se madansi ni wa abrochire we krapo de o mabo abrochire o se na dansi ni wa abrochire enti yenko ne yenkohwe sa sika na ewo whatever money that is in Afghanistan or UK or whatever all comes into the balance sheets of Cocoa Board. What you say? It's in your picture na kasa no is the balance sheet. And that's what I am showing you. So don't go back to all those things.
I'm only putting before you claims they have made.
Okay.
So you respond.
Yakase bank abechesi wo de 10 million. We see o mi o 2 cedi wa account mu. Etu o 2 cedi wa account ma. Na just one de 10 billion. Those are the issues. So the issues are that a Canadian bubuja decisions no so ye ni be a criminal ama wo man no enwa kwa ahohiahiem ama ye hu hwia enye yi nenti no samri yenjae ento na sauram na koko sector no enkrase e krase wan ye bebo ni din Jomama time and a cocoa e krase ye eti ni senti no ne ese ye ne say we have to take one of the boldest decision never in the history of cocoa since the days of Tetekwasi has any government, any institution. Let's go beyond Ghana. I just want you to see the state of the matter. Never in any country that trades cocoa, our more institutions and managing regulatory cocoa, do they pay over 90% of the FOB price to the cocoa farmer? Never ever. It be see that.
But government government had no option.
But you see,
if government had paid 70%. Then you'll be paying farmers about 1,500.
So now you are talking for government. Government has no option.
Yes,
so, government. Yes.
I'm just trying to.
The government has no option. Now I catch the no team and you say government has no option.
In the interview, now make us say, Omono Omako school.
All the 100%.
How do you
100%? Or no, what school no any issues, no.
Explain that to the farmer. The farmers are not ready to let some of your money say. A car near Kia and our baby about it. One on what catch a credit say. A car near Kia Winnie and I don't Mahama so their mouth for. Now she say, she call ye, Yandikabia, a buy absorb she. And you're on an arm responding to know. I say I buy absorb she, or more time, or more absorb. That was what he was saying. They are not telling the truth to the farmer. Into the number studio, me baby and Sanya and you. So that you and I say you won't hear to Cocoa Board and I'll take a decision. What decision would you have taken? Matter Sama forecast. Oh, I didn't yes, you ready to run your Are you aware that run the decisions all year yenti? Only out of 580,000 metric tons na a ton, you know. 240,000 if we may almost 340,000. Sa 340,000 no ebiaka egu bama so ha yentimin ton because price na sesa eti yentimin ton ye kakra na randi koto ye odwama so no what the $3.9 billion and the buy 8 years Akufo-Addo life obedi president any boy here do etna Cocoa Board woman cocoa beyond 2 billion Ghana. The highest was in 2000 and I think 2001 or so. 1 million metric ton. That's the only time
government in a contribution of $2 billion. Randy, with all this crisis, has brought in 3.9 billion with all the rollover you go to Yangiska and in the Akawa stores. And you are telling me what?
Otokonor,
So I
okay, my memo satisfy now question. Which you move from the onset, sir. About trading now, I buy with two options: forward sales, spot sales. The last government was heavy on forward sales. Mono taking the strategic decisions, mobile more spot sales. It's been said, sir, that decision, because for spot sales, you gauge the market to get price maximize or benefit. Now, what on that singular decision, some mobile spot sales, and I create this mess at the government has had to drop cocoa prices to the farmer, because when the market was good, into more expert trading, you say it drew bullish. When the market was bullish, it drew time a year. Manton, because you were anticipating say besia kosro more, and boom, a drop away, and I mean who the into a bad trading choice on the part of Cocoa Board and government, and a dear drew her. Respond to that.
Absolutely not.
I didn't.
Exceedingly defective for anybody to suggest a bad trading choice.
I didn't hear.
It was a trading choice. Yeah.
Yes.
But that trading choice had brought in $3.9 billion US. Ayinya says can it be that?
Yeah, but that trading choice for the first time in our history, cocoa prices has to be dropped in the middle of the
what was some question? I know what to no material in bad trading choice. So out of that choice, we had the liberty to sell only 340,000 metric tons. Me no say you were about 100,000 metric tons or thereabout. Less granted. 100,000 ton. Yeah. Out of that 349, you ton only 240,000 granted.
Yes.
And at that choice, another 3.9 billion.
Yes.
And as you see, cocoa ni go and cotton. We have not made loss. We still have the cocoa. And President Mahama Kacha say, Ghana, any Ivory Coast, the whole world, cocoa. You supplying in Ivory Coast and they produce 65%. The global market for cocoa is $142 billion US. 142 in Ghana GDP compared to cocoa market. And so we are seeing in Ghana and Ivory Coast and you produce 65.
65.
And the value on the market is 142 billion. Ghana and Ivory Coast now less than 2% of that. You know why?
Yes.
Because of reckless trading decisions like the other reason is we are not adding value to gain more, and that is why we get less than 1% of that 142 billion. And so to be able to do that, what do? You add value. And so President Mahama, what was your question? What was your question?
Hold on.
Trading choice.
Sent to the local value addition companies. That's a different argument. We'll come there.
It is not a different argument.
Hold on. We'll come there.
It is consequential.
What I'm telling you is, at the start of the crop season, government announced a certain price, 3,600 to the farmer. Middle of the crop season, government has had to come back to announce a reduction to 2,500. It's been argued, say, that move by government was necessitated because Cocoa Board in their trading decisions, rather than doing forward sales, they decided to go spot. It did not more try airtime so many good price. In their weight, and a world market price at Tambo. And they have no option than to reduce prices for the farmer. That's the question I ask.
Okay, Obi, me blackboard one can bear me the but mini blackboard. Good trading choice. Any bad trading choice. May me say any bad trading choice.
Okay.
And a good trading choice.
Okay.
Because when I had 340 beans to sell, I sold 240,000 of that.
Okay.
To get 3.9 billion. Then I kept the rest of the beans, which means I still hold my property.
Yes.
I have not traded the property.
But you trade. You cannot chew the beans.
Oh,
okay,
but I will not trade at a worse price.
How?
But I will hold it. And if I'm not getting a good price, I am going to process and add value so that I would be able to multiply my price by 200%.
But the processing will not be done by cocoa.
It
will still be so. The beans will still be so.
Ghana government will get over 200% of its earnings on the value of that cocoa. Obi, a simple 1 + 1. If we process the beans that I have not sold, Unim say for every ton of cocoa that you sell at the raw beans, when you process, you are able to earn 200% of that, and that is the standard metric I use. So what we are saying is, for that cocoa beans that we have not sold as a result of our strategic planning, that cocoa beans, irrespective of anything, is still worth about 200% more if we give to the cocoa processing in Ghana, and they process, sell to the market or sell to the external market. And you tell me this is a...
But if you are familiar with cocoa board, every year, especially during the light crop season, so light crop beans always are sold.
Please, farmers. Don't let anybody deceive you.
Is that not true?
In the last 6 years, the cocoa processing factories in Ghana, they import their light crop from Ivory Coast, Nigeria,
supplementary to supplement what they get from Ghana. That's the fact.
Most of the forward sales that we have done in the past 4 years or 5 years, we have logged in the premium cocoa beans, the main crop season, and we have logged in some of the light crop seasons, and we have sent them out.
But not
that
all.
But so and
the Honorable Dr. Peter Buama Otokonor.
In fact,
aka Vandal Bola.
Powerful. The last 4 years. The last 4 years. All this processing, in fact, 2024, let me stick to 2024. The data was just released by GSS. 103,000 metric tons of light crop was imported.
Yes. And when you look at
are you aware? Are you aware? CPC, all the other cocoa processing factories, most of the times they work only 4 months and close in the year because they can't get the beans, they can't get the supplies. Do you understand? That is the reality. The light crop do not go to them, and they have to take permission every time to import light crop.
Yes.
And that is making them unproductive. Last time somebody asked me, he's a journalist, and he said, why is it that cocoa in Ghana is too expensive? Even the golden tree chocolate, King's Bite in Yamano, Yentiminto. Then I told him that when you are growing too much beans and you are still importing beans to process here, you can't expect the processor to run its overheads above and sell it cheap.
Yes.
Very expensive input cost. So overturn our boarding. But you see, the formula we have brought in right now, process 50% of the total cocoa value.
Yes.
The installed capacity of the processing factories is 400,000 metric tons. They don't do that.
Yes.
None of them they've not done full capacity before.
Yes.
If we are going to give them 400,000 metric tons, it means that globally the market will short 400,000 metric tons of beans.
Yes.
Do you know the effect on the market? I am a chartered financial analyst, and I do brokerage as well, and I advise people on financial decisions. If I would advise President Mahama to make any decision, it is the best trading decision that we made last year and the decision that we have made this time around. That 400,000 metric tons. Wait,
last year decision, man.
Oh, so now one offer buy. Also, your cost spot price. You anchor forward.
Oh, so
okay. That's what I'm referring to. And so the 400,000 metric tons that we have withdrawn from the market, if indeed we are going to keep to this, Obi, we will change the market dynamics on the global international cocoa exchange, because a shortage of 400,000 metric tons on the cocoa exchange is huge. We'll see what will happen to the prices. It's in me, I'm predicting. I'm telling you as an analyst. The price fall is temporary. After na Ghana cocoa farmer be de. Se Ghana cocoa farmer be so yasino wa support in this difficult time. You have no idea, because the edene say ya say 70% ni enko below. It's any time decision now you taking be affect market no. Now market ni be dane. Now price ni be call 10,000, 11,000, 12,000, 15,000. Cocoa farmer one be di.
Mo be to bo na ma 70%.
Enye cocoa farmer na be di.
Ehun bail e ko parliament.
Enye krani na be di. Yodom aye bra me ye campaign call ye kon krase kasa ye nyina ne se. Me so minim de kakra me wo no. me de be boa aban no na aban no ama Ghana fo adi enye sa
but no if do you as an analyst
enye if when
o say
when babra for it
as an analyst no o share crystal ball ni ma ebo ne besen akosoro
ebe ko nchekra even with the market decisions that we have taken, and I've seen that Ivory Coast is moving closer to us. I mean, Ivory Coast is also converging. If Ivory Coast should decide, so Muzu process 50%, the market is done. The market is done. I ran presidential initiatives for the president. One of the projects that I was working on was in cocoa. President said, "You grow 200,000 new hectares of cocoa," and this will be like cocoa
state-led.
Yes, state-led. And so we are running a youth in cocoa program with Cocoa Board. You develop it that 200,000 hectares in the middle belt of the country. Uti Northern Water is a belt that is not on.
But such a major and consequential
initiative. Okay. You need to look at the model first before you read meaning.
Not
before you read into the name.
Say state-led farms. I should be proper farming.
No, state-led farms will not be functional. And so this is what we have done with that model. We have invited private sector participation.
Okay.
And so the government facilitates private sector driven. So most of the investment will be done by private sector. Okay. Input cost and there are only a few that
land.
Yes, and there are only a few that Cocoa Board will do.
Okay.
You understand? Just for also to have a model. You understand?
Okay.
But it is private sector led. But essentially the thing is to address production.
Sure.
Now, if Ivory Coast takes that decision to also process part of their cocoa. Now yet me expand the scope ni say. Now ye process a portion of the cocoa. It will change the entire market dynamics completely. I can tell you on authority, there's one of the biggest cocoa processors in the world that came to Ghana last year. And as if they knew that the dynamics may change under President Mahama because of our campaign. And when they saw the initiative, they said they wanted to be part. Free last year, Omar Dilidalisa, MOU never Omar Dilidalisa. Yeah, now so 200 now. When we finish, I'll send you.
2,000,
50%. No?
Yeah.
Now, President call AU. Our said we are processing 50% of your cocoa, and also sending me video. No say we need to execute this project immediately.
Now. But do
you see,
also agree
the market is going to respond, and they will respond very fast.
I get you.
And this is what is going to happen. You will see that the market will now move into Ghana for the processing in Ghana.
Yeah.
Now, when they move to Ghana to process, jobs, Abba.
But some of them
the
are
real value.
here.
No, the real value and so Abba. Some of them are already here. And so you see, it takes tact.
Yeah, but
it takes a lot to make these bodies.
What I am asking is, at the time Cocoa Board announced prices last year, September, Finance Minister issued statement etre Nioma aban and no be about even scholarship on person or bar for cocoa farmers and bar any other. Nowhere in that statement, or this shame we say you be processing 50% ewaha. What it tells everybody listening is the decision to process 50% wahano a decision that was born out of this crisis. Cabinet emergency meeting and omobe announce it. That cannot be a reason why price drop no farmers enya. My question was say the decision to do spot and more China and a world market price a drop na mo need any other option than to give farmers this price. Respond to that. You've not responded to that.
What a story way that Jenny by sea.
Maintain
you a collab in the course of control exams. Na
Dr. Otokonor.
No David Tobo na ne amana pose a composition never but no better about the journey I made by sea. And I'll call you no question I had the man no na a journey by air. Till one or say okay metro T. And I'll say the journey to America was by air. So when the plane flew from Otokonor International Airport,
it passed on the sea.
On top of the sea, the plane developed a fault, and the plane dropped down into the sea. and the rest of the journey was by sea. And
Oh no, but you agree, sir.
No,
but you've not answered that question.
I have answered all that question. You are just choosing your own, and you are choosing your own questions and providing your own answer.
Is it true, sir, the decision to wait for a favorable time to sell on sports, no? And I hear trying a price and drop. Is that true?
No, whatever decision, you see, that's why they call them market instruments.
Yes.
So there are instruments that are available for you.
Yes.
Each of the instruments, it has its associated risk.
Yes.
So you must have the risk in mind.
Yes.
That's why in financial analysis it's called risk mitigation.
Yes.
So you must have the risk in mind and mitigate the risk. And so what I'm telling you is that the risk would have come anyway, because so far as the price was going up, it means that it could come down. And when it comes down, it means that it could go up.
In our case, we were waiting for it to go up and a bar down. So that
no, senior counsel Obi. Doctor say what radio only dia bedrua ntino me pacho Obi. So what I'm saying is the tools that are on the market, every tool has its own risk. So for every tool that you select at which point in time, you want to maximize your gains.
The gains.
You understand? So when you maximize your gains, that means that there will be times where the risk will hit in. But you must have a mitigating measure. But already in Ghana, ye cocoa issues say cocoa problem. And everybody talks about the problem. But we have not been bold to make that decision, which we know. And look, from 2023, 2024, I've always said there's an irony. The biggest irony in agro-economic history in the world is cocoa. It's the biggest irony. The irony is that on minor produce less than 2% of it. And every international platform that I've stood on to speak about agriculture, I have mentioned this. But that means that we know the problem. But what's the solution?
The problem is to add value.
The solution is
we know.
So you see, it's a mitigating tool that was hanging that nobody had deployed. And so if you deploy the spot price and you now see that Trinity, you must deploy your mitigation tools. One of whom is the 50% that we have decided. Because again, if you are the biggest producer, you should control the market. If you are a biggest producer, you should control the market. And that's what everybody does. Commodity trade.
With what has happened this year, would you still advise Cocoa Board?
Readily.
Say cost still with sports price.
Oh, no,
sports sales, no.
But why? Say you predu asasi enjimi you. Na ade na drop it and then when we say free last week crab ba do 3,600. Wo kwa koton no sport price. Ade na eko. So what you do is that you must hedge. That's why in risk mitigation we call hedging. Hedging is not forward sales.
Hedging is a form of hedging. Forward sales is a form.
Well, it's a form of hedging, but that's not the hedge. You are not doing forward sales, so you hold. You understand? You hold the commodity and be reading the market. Then you drop it in so that you see if you can control the market. Market will pick up. Then you go in there. You understand? And so there are multiple tools that can be deployed, multiple risk mitigation measures that can be deployed. Essentially, commodity ye di nyina ne ye ka nyina ne se akuafo no yesere mu ambrase mu. Omonti ase ma ye se samre ade na ya no ya in their interest so that they can gain more than whatever they have earned in the history of cocoa. Because tools now, these are the things that you go in. Indeed, if we are able to hold 50% of our beans, we can set our own price for the farmer. We can set our own price, and we may not even be able.
The one you sell locally. No?
Yes, you can set your own price because now you are controlling the market, and market determines the price, demand and supply. You understand? And so you need to understand these things to be able to make an efficient decision, and that is what we have done. It's no equiafono adesrede. So mutie miracle boaje mo no randi mo monte adna na wo mo eyebo hwi no mo di omachi
entremu randi na wo kan ye o ka Collins o so amankwanye randi
okay say randi Collins o so amankwani nickname no say randi Enye Randy Abe. Aha, enye Randy Abe.
Mo no obi ankofa wa no ense.
Oh, we dey why ade. Nyumre mema oprekonam. Etino sa omu tie ni MPP fo na ye no. Ne sa ayi frakadam demonstration na omo se omo ye no. Ayi Poland omo ne nam a omo se omo ye demonstration ne ma na. They will lose something very important that they are going to get for their families and for their future. For the first time, Obi. Sa bo na ye dey aba 2587. Even so the goods and yeni now your real analysis. I won't say the farmer is better off than when MPP was in power. So MPP has no moral authority. They have no moral room, moral space to do the reckless things that they are doing. In fact, me MPP near, you will not see me anywhere near radio. Me Otokonor, me MPP near. Some crisis way, and I'll wait for something else to come, the right time that I can make meaningful, sensible analysis. This time, no analysis can be done sensibly to support MPP in this time. Now. Why? Obi, 2,587. Obi a your business you want your friend input cost, and you want your friend your expenditure, and you want your friend revenue. And you want your friend a profit. Near my means, I'm a boy. It's no revenue. No, you ton adiana scale benyano. Any input cost near scale be say Eddie Acoton adiana and I said, yes, Edumano. And our profit, yes, I would say a cost in the free revenue, no man on your profit. Me boy. Cocoa farmer be our do cocoa and the Kufu do not turn a fertilizer 700 Ghana cedi. Now, Otokonor 80 Ghana cedi. We near for crown and maybe bubble bossy. Condemn fertilizer. We use and order done therefore. Minim fertilizer here will be used to the 1 acre farm, but maybe analysis be actual. Se cocoa farmer no eto fertilizer baako. No Otokonor box baako 960 Ghana. No the can 700 no where be ahe. Ebe 1660 Ghana me boa.
In fact, Dr. Peter Boama Otokonor waya de proper. Oma ubi abre. Na ubi peso di jandam e form. But the faha na Otokonor dia faha. But the faha no Otokonor dia faha. But the faha no Otokonor dia faha. Sa na wa defe na ene wenti mi anye jandam. So it's good. It's good. It's good since MPP for someone there. Since MPP don't want to learn and my say they will always play the minds of Ghanaians because Omunim say Ghana for Adwimwe, and this time around Ghana for Adwimwe. So there is no way they are going to fall for this propaganda. So MPP should know better. MPP should know better and be in a position. I wish for and some no ena yakwakuti abano. Adawruma meme edisi ano. Na while like this very video, yummy like mommy. You can like mommy. You can like mommy. Na minka asimbi na yemfa jumadiri AC. Wadika kachire Ghana for say Ghana for you. MPP a political party. Said ye yana nanma no mudi party nim estati ya. Said ye yana nanma no mudi nim estati ya. Ene entisabiu. In fact, ene entisabiu mfancheme. Ene party no. Ne many no kwa the party no engine ye. And bibia chirese party no ajija. Bibia kyerɛ sɛ party no ayɛ den agyigya because wohwɛ the current MPP a ɛwɔ hɔnom seesei na ahwɛ the kind of dwumadi a ɛnɛ wɔte opposition no di a na wohwɛ adapatwa a wɔde twa wɔn ho a biribiara kyerɛ mu sɛ party no ɛngyina yie. Yes, biribiara kyerɛ mu sɛ party no ngyina yie and there is no way if ɔmo political party ngyina yie a they can organize themselves to rule this nation. Because mo na mo ankasa mo party kura muntimi organize mo ho. So how much more ɛna ɛyɛ Ghana for at large? Mo ankasa mo ho na muntimi organize. But how much more ɛna Ghana for at large mo betimi organize omo? It's really sad. Nti ɛna wohu MPP ni na ɔkasa bebree sika a ɔmo wia no inaban mu no asa. Ɛnsan so aka kakra bi na asa. Nti ɔmo n'ani ayɛ den na the next election wɔtumi anya konya na wabewie bio. In fact, ɛmfa. You get my point? Ɛmfa. Saa na akɔyɛ. Nti wohwɛ MPP foɔ mo ani abere nyinaa na ɔte radio so ɔkasa ne nkɔn ho tintin ɔsu ɔdanda ne ho nyinaa na ɛnyɛ hwee nti o na mmom ɛyɛ sika no mo wiaeɛ no asa. Sika no mo wiaeɛ no asa. Asa so deɛ a ɛwɔ sɛ ɔmo nyɛ bi de hyɛ mu. Ɛno ho dwumadie ɛna wohu ɔmo ani abɛdeɛ ɔmo ɛdie. But ɛmfa because Ghana for already understands MPP. Say mo yɛ akorɔmfoɔ pro-mass. Majority of them anyɛ ɔmo nyinaa. Because me one MP bi a Honorable Boama, one fine gentleman. I love him. He's one of the just say one of the MPP for Mubu. He respects himself. What I say. And those people, no, you can never say, you get my point. Nti sana de no akwa kyerɛ wadwen ɛwɔ comment section no mahanom ɛyɛ number 1 authentic platform Mega TV. Nyankopɔn nhyira makra. Bye bye.